Southeast Asia prepares to welcome back tourists as tough border curbs are eased. And for a closer look at tourism on the upswing in Asia, we're joined by Martin Hibberd, a professor of emerging infectious diseases. Professor Hibberd, thanks for joining us. Firstly, after almost 2 years of border closures, there's now this growing shift towards living with COVID-19. Is it about time that Asia reopens and resumes some form of normalcy?
I think we have to accept that this virus is not going to go away. So I think it is time for us to think about opening up. We have to balance that with the amount of vaccinations. We can't open up too soon because unless we've prepared for that. But with vaccination rates increasing, then I think it is time to start opening up.
And Professor Hibberd, with that rise in vaccination rates around the world, there's more confidence now, to put it simply. So can we expect foreign tourists to bite the bullet and actually return for these holidays?
I think the experience from Europe is that people do want to go on holidays. And I think it probably is, there will be an upsurge and people will want to travel, especially those people who have been vaccinated already. I think they're keen to travel.
And tell us a bit more about that then. How is the situation across Southeast Asia different to perhaps what's been going on in Europe and the US?
So at least in Europe, people are opening up. And I think in the UK has been leading the way with that. So as a result of lockdown measures being lifted mostly by July, we've seen an increase in contacts between people. And we're not quite back to pre-COVID times yet, but that process has been opening up. So certainly, in the US and Europe, we're starting to lift those lockdowns and starting to see actually how this disease really does respond to the vaccination programs.
And do countries have to be prepared, Professor Hibberd, for perhaps an uptick in cases and perhaps even new strains of COVID-19 as these countries open up?
So that's certainly the experience in Europe, and I can point to the UK, which has opened up the most. And we've seen an upswing in number of cases. In fact, we still see regularly high numbers of cases across the UK, despite pretty good vaccination rates. In the UK, we're seeing cases more in children where we've got less vaccinations. But certainly there's a lot of cases and sadly a lot of hospitalizations and even deaths. So yes, as you open up, you're going to have to be prepared for these numbers to increase.
And what do you make of sort of where we are now then? Is there a chance that we could go sort of back to where we were before with lockdowns and the like, or are the days of lockdowns, border closures and long quarantines now well and truly behind us?
So we would all like to think that would be the case, but unfortunately we're still not. This is a new virus and we're not sure exactly how this virus is going to respond to that whole process. I think there's still a chance that we might see a new variant of this virus turning up. And this variant might be resistant to the vaccines that we have at the moment. If something like that happened, then clearly we would have to return to lockdown measures. And in the UK, we're worried about the influenza season that's coming during the winter. And our hospitals may not be able to cope with both influenza and COVID numbers, which are still high. So I think there may have to be some return to mask wearing and distancing in order to cope with those things. So I don't think we're fully out of the whole process just yet. Those two things might lead to a setback in the process. But hopefully we're improving.
Not quite out of the woods just yet. Professor Hibberd, thank you very much. Professor Martin Hibberd there from the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine.